Hello, it's me, obviously. Have you ever thought about getting your cards graded? Well, I did, for the first time. And I learnt a lot. Oh boy, did I learn a lot. And we're going to talk about my experience of getting my cards graded today. So I've never had my cards graded before. I've never bought a slab, as they're called. And I'm still conflicted in what I think and how I feel about the whole grading industry as a whole. I've got two really amazing cards, the Latios and the Latias from Surging Sparks, two of my most favourite Pokemon. And since I have the matching art, I thought, what cards in my entire collection are probably worth getting graded and at least having in a slab on the desk for my own personal collection? So those are the two that I thought out of my whole collection. Let's get those done. I'm fortunate enough to have PokeGrade, the UK's first Pokemon card grading company. I'm lucky to have PokeGrade on my doorstep. So, I arranged to meet with Peter, the boss, the company owner. He founded this. Just as a note, don't turn up. They're really increasing their security, and rightly so at the moment, so you do need to make sure that you have contacted them in advance. If you're planning on going to drop your cards off and pick them up, do arrange an appointment. There is an amazing coffee shop next to the lobby, so this is just editing version of me reminding you, you must make sure you book, don't just turn up. He founded this company and it is booming at the moment. Great stuff to see. A local UK independent company going from strength to strength. So I arranged to meet with Peter. He was so grateful, so gracious with his time. Not met the guy before. Sent a lot of his videos. Been here and there on the socials. In fact, my comment on one of his biggest videos is the most liked on TikTok at the moment. Just saying. And we got chatting. We spent a lot of time chatting, as you do. And long story short, I got my two cards graded. And we're going to have a look at what they got. And I'm going to explain to you some of the things. I was going to say dangers. They're not dangers, but they're certainly things I did not consider before I chose these cards to be graded. And yes, with one card in particular, I am really disappointed with. Not with the grading process or how it was graded. I was disappointed because I was surprised at the grade it got. And we're going to have a look at that in just a moment. So let's talk about PokeGrade in general, an independent UK company that grades not only Pokemon cards but other cards. Let's take a look at the website. So here is PokeGradeUK.co.uk. Here's their website. Everything you need, contact details, information on prices, etc., can be found here. Also, I've had a little trouble finding their Instagram, but their official Instagram is at PG_grading. So if you want to head on over to Instagram to find the correct one, because there's quite a few accounts calling themselves PokeGrade UK. So PG_grading, and you can see some of the awesome content and collaborations that they've been doing recently. And here's my own little shout out. Their official TikTok is PG_grading as well, the same as Instagram. And their biggest video at the moment is Peter unwrapping a God pack. Yeah, good for you. Well done. I still haven't got one single SIR, with over 200,000 views at the moment, and here I am, woo! trainertricky on TikTok. A simple comment, grat set complete, and I've got the most likes on his video. So that's my that's my little corner of check me out, piggybacking on someone else's fame. Thanks for that, Peter. Anyway. So make sure you've got their socials correct, and also mine, trainertricky. Let's get into it. So, what were my grades, and what do they look like? Oh, they look freaking awesome. Let's check this out. So let's take a look at those grades. Let's do the Latias first. So here we have our Latias. You can go check out the shorts to see the reaction of the pull of this by my wife. Absolutely gorgeous card, and we got an amazing reaction on the video, so check out the shorts. So Latias, that got a, drum roll please, it got a 9. So let's take it out and have a good look at this properly. Is it at the top or the bottom? I think it's at the bottom. There we go. So these are called slabs because they are literally slabs. So we got a 9, and we're going to talk about why it got a 9 in just a second. But first, let's just appreciate PokeGrade's new art toppers. I don't know what else to call them really. How it extends the art to the top. I love it. I really, really love the grading information on top. Also on the back, you have a QR code you can scan, and that will tell you like how many other of these cards have been graded by PokeGrade, and what their grade was. So there are only 2 currently graded, apparently, unless there's more and it's like a new system. And there's 2 that got a 9. So why didn't it get a 9.5? So here's the first thing to think about before you send stuff into grade, and how you select what you want to grade. They're looking at your cards under these massive lenses. They're really zooming in to check your card, which you're probably not doing. Let's be honest, and I certainly didn't do. I did it like this. I put it up to my face and I looked, and I could see, I was like, okay, there's some whitening on the corners. Like, you're looking at it now, and I bet you're thinking, where? Where? And I don't think I've got the focus on this. But if you put it under these massive lenses that they put it under, you can see during the cutting process, it is, we are talking a speck. Like, literally a speck. In this corner, in this corner, in this corner, and so unfortunately, because of these specs which are beyond your control, and this is one thing that really frustrates me about the whole grading industry in itself, due to the poor quality control of English cards, it's really hard to get a 10 mint card of these English cards. Now PokeGrade in particular, boy are they strict. They are strict, and for good reason. Like, you want to know, in comparison to other companies that grade cards, you want to know that their grading is worth it. And I think these are stricter than PSA and ACE, because to get a 9.5, it needs to be like perfect. And you can see the balance of this isn't great, but apparently the balance on the back isn't too much of a bother. But because there are some, like, to the human eye, you cannot tell. To a human eye, this is mint. Holding it like this, looking at like, you're like, there is nothing wrong with this card. But Peter and the guys at PokeGrade want their grades to know, if you get a 10, that card is perfect. Like, there cannot be a single fault with it. And that's the same with the 9.5. The 9.5 there is for perfect cards that have got like one imperfection on it. I shouldn't be too upset with a 9. It's an excellent grade, especially with PokeGrade. They are very, 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 very strict. And we'll talk about other card companies in just a moment. Let's take a look at my Latios, which was and is in better condition than the Latias. The corners are better, the front is better, However, we got an 8. We got an 8, and I'm going to tell you why. And here's something that you've really got to think about. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see anything wrong with it? No, I know you can't. Nor can I. Because I haven't got a massive microscope. Not microscope, but, lens. I had to challenge Peter on this because I couldn't see it. Eventually I could see it. And even now, I can see it. And I don't know if you can see it. You're looking here. You want to look here? I think you might just... If I just get the light on it, there. Can you see it? There is a print line there, and it goes straight across the back of the card. This is something that he nearly missed. There. Oh, did you see it? There. Can you see it? Right there. There. And it goes across the back of the card. I'm angry. I'm so angry. I couldn't see that before. I was like, yeah, this is mint. There is whitening on one corner. This would have got a 9.5. Except there is a print line right there, and it goes across the whole of the back of the card. And that's unfortunately why Peter had to give it an 8. Wrong way round. Let's talk about this some more. You and I aren't looking for those imperfections. You and I can't see those imperfections. The grading companies can. You have really got to scrutinize your cards before you send them off to get graded. And this is like a warning from me to you. If you want to get your cards graded, great. You do you. But I'm just telling you, in my experience, there are things that I did not consider that these grading companies are looking for. And you might think that your card is perfect, but to someone who grades cards on a daily basis with a massive lens like this under a light, they're going to find something. So what can you do about that? Get yourself a big lens and scrutinize your cards as much as you possibly can, just like they do. That's not really realistic unless you're really into grading and your investment is into grading, and so on and so forth. I just want you to be aware. I sent that card thinking that is mint. Like, that is mint. But for PokeGrade UK, a 10 needs to be a perfect card. It needs to be perfect. A 9.5 will get you a near perfect. A 9 will get you a near perfect. And there are some. We're talking. I have no glasses. I don't need glasses, fortunately. But for anyone who's got lesser quality of eyesight than I have, you probably look at my Latias and think there's nothing wrong with that. We're talking like smaller than a piece of dust, white specks in the corners, and that's why I got a 9 on the Latias. But it was the print line on the Latios that pulled that sucker down. And man, I am gutted. I've got another Latios. I'll get that graded as well, but I'll do it on their 20-day return. So I'm not, I'll do it on their cheapest return rate possible, and hope that gets a 9, and so that I'll have a 9 and a 9 next to each other, because I just love Latios and Latias. So let's talk about something else that PokeGrade do that other card companies don't, and this was a criticism of mine. Until I understood why. Let's look at this. So, PokeGrade UK, I don't know if you can see, but inside the slab, it is in a Voltex Exact Fit sleeve. You can see it, it's in a sleeve. And there's two reasons for that. The first reason, is just my personal opinion. isn't great is that the slabs were designed firstly to support the standard size of cards. So if it was your standard sports card, it would sit in this slab, it wouldn't move around, it would fit. Pokemon cards are just ever so slightly smaller than your standard sports cards, as I think Peter was explaining. And so it doesn't perfectly fit inside the slabs at the moment. I think it's something they're looking into. But the second reason, and probably the most important reason why it is a good idea to sleeve your card inside a slab, is something I never thought about. And that is the UV protection. The slabs at the moment with no sleeve, and I was shown under a UV light detector, give it's like a 7% protection, whatever, from UV rays, 7% protection value of UV rays through just this slab. But through the Voltex Exact Fit sleeves, that's a 24% protection from UV rays. So if you're like me, and you're going to have these suckers out, although I was still advised not to have them out under a light on the desk for long periods of time. If you're going to have these out, to protect these cards long term, you want them in a sleeve in the slab, because it just increases that percentage of protection from UV rays. And so for that reason, is something I did not consider. For that reason, okay. That makes sense. Now, whether in the future the slabs will evolve, and the type of slabs and the type of protection, yada yada yada, will evolve and get better or whatnot, I don't know. But for now, sleeving inside the slab does make sense. So, what else is there to tell you? Let's recap. Really, look over your cards in more of a fine-tooth comb than you think you already have before you send them off to get graded. Because if you're like me, you've spent good money on having them graded, and if it doesn't come back, what are you expecting? You're expecting a 10. It's unlikely it's going to come back a 10. So you're hoping for a 9? If that happens and you get something less than a 9, man, it's hard to take. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But they're not doing it to annoy you. They're doing it to give you a fair assessment on the quality of your card. Now, do I think PokeGrade are overzealous in how they have graded? Personally, yes. But that's because I'm not looking to get these graded for an investment. I'm looking to get these graded because I love Pokemon, and I just think that's what an awesome display of my personal cards. However, the majority of the people that are grading for investment purposes, which I don't like, but that's me. And so therefore, that number's important. That number is really important. And for people looking to buy graded cards, that number is important. They want to know. If it's a 10, I think with PokeGrade, you can be sure that is. I can't say it again. They are so strict. And for, I think, people buying a slab, if it's PokeGrade and it's a 9.5 or a 10 or even a 9, you really know what to expect. And hopefully from this video, I've kind of helped explain, the value in potentially investing in PG grading slabs in the future. Because if you compare it to someone like PSA, that is a multi-million pound company, owned by a big I don't know if they're million or billion pound company, I'm conjecturing here. They are just getting your cards in and they want to get them out. And I have seen some shoddy cards graded at 9 and 10 that I know that's not a perfect card. So what do you want? Do you want a slab with a 10 on it with an imperfect card, or do you want a slab with a 10 on it for a perfect card? If I was in the habit of spending big money for a graded card and I wanted a 10 because I wanted to be confident it was a perfect card, PokeGrade UK is where it's at. Now, I've not had any ace cards. I have had a friend send a perfect card. But in our opinion, the grading process is different. We've already covered that. And it came back as an 8. And my friend, again, absolutely gutted. Absolutely. And he said on the ace, because ace do give you some feedback on the card, he disagreed with it. And he's likely going to crack it open and sell it mint, because a graded card at 8 is worth less, can you believe it? This is a new Leafeon SIR, than a graded card 8 is worth less than an ungraded Leafeon, because people see the potential in a 9. Do I like the grading industry personally? No, but it is what it is. If you want to get a card graded, stick with PokeGrade UK. I think that's my answer. That's, I think, the most honest company, the strictest company, and it needs to be consistent. If it's not consistent, what's the point? What is the point if you can't trust in the grading that you're getting? That's my spill. Will I get cards graded in the future? Probably not. But that's because it's personal. It's not an investment. And as my wife keeps telling me, it's not an investment if you don't plan on selling it. Anyway, I've been Trainer Tricky. You've been brilliant. Thank you for sticking around for such, I imagine, a long video. But I hope I've kind of covered some of the basis of what it's like to get graded, to get your card graded, the experience, the excitement, the disappointment. I hope my words have kind of helped you make more sense of the grading industry and help you in your decision of whether you grade yourself, buy slabs, sell slabs, or whatever. I hope you just enjoyed sticking around for some time. I appreciate your company. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Check out my shorts on YouTube and my TikTok, trainertricky. Twitch, I sometimes do some random live streams. You never know. Trainer_tricky, as it's spelled in the corner of the stream. Until next time, much love. Take care. Cheers.